بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we began a brief commentary of Quran. We got to chapter Nisa, the fourth chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. It has 176 verses. Please listen to verse 13.
تلك حدود الله ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك الفوز العظيم.
These are Allah's limits, and whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, He will cause him to enter gardens beneath which rivers flow, to abide in them, and this is the great achievement. In previous verse, Allah was talking about the inheritors. Sometimes inheritors are husband from wife, sometimes wife from husband, sometimes kalala, as we explained in previous verse, and sometimes parents and children, as Allah was talking about it in verse 11. After talking and mentioning different portions that each group will take from the others, Allah said, you should follow, and they are orders from Allah, and Allah is wise, and Allah knows what is going on and what is good for you. And Allah advised that the will is something that you should follow it and pay from the money that a person has left if he has some debt. Overall, Allah said, first, the debt when a person passes away, and then wasiyah, a will if he has left. Third, we should divide it as we mentioned about it in two previous verses. After that, Allah said, and tilka hududullah. These are Allah's limits. These are Allah's orders. These are the borders that nobody should pass them. If the males will get twice as females, nobody can change it. Nobody has a right to change it. Even a person cannot change it by will. Nobody can have a will that my money should be divided between my children, although some of them are males, some of them are females, exactly the same. We cannot follow it. We cannot practice it. Although he has a will, but Allah said regarding to the will that it should be غير مضار من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار. It means the will should not harm anybody. If a person says the women, the girls will take as much as the male, of course it is going to hurt the male. As Allah has said, the male should get twice as female. So such a will should not be followed, and it is useless. Or another point, if a man, for example, has a will that, okay, don't give from my money or my property to the Mr. Hassan or Hussein, for example, which are their children, his children. Or my daughter should not get anything. We don't listen to him because it is harming. So the wasiyah is very important, but should not hurt anybody, should not harm anybody, should not hurt anybody. So we will see that they are Allah's limits. They will get such a portion, such a percentage, for example, and we should practice it exactly as Allah has mentioned. First, debt; second, wasiyah, will; and third, we should divide it between parents, children, parents and children, husband, wife, from each one, how much they are going to get, or kalala as Allah mentioned. These are the Allah's limits, hududullah, and nobody can change haddullah, hududullah, the borders of Allah. Nobody can add something, nobody can minus something. Of course, 1/3 belong to the man or a woman who passed away. They can have a will. But more than that, they cannot change Allah's limits. تلك حدود الله ومن يطع الله, and whoever obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah and His Messenger, we understand that following the Messenger is so necessary and obligated, as we should follow Allah's orders because Allah has said it. So when we talk about Prophet's narration, we must understand that we must practice and follow it as we follow the Quran. So nobody can say, no, only we practice Quran and we have nothing to do with the narration. Whoever says such a thing, it means he is not going to practice even Quran. Because Quran is ordering to practice the Prophet, and Prophet sometimes is talking. Prophet said in a narration. Prophet said something that are narrated to us. We should practice it and fulfill it. So whoever obeys Allah and obeys the Prophet, then يُدْخِلْهُ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. Allah is going to make him enter the paradise, the gardens, which beneath are some rivers, and people are going, Allah is going to make them enter the paradise, which under the paradise gardens the rivers flow. خالدين فيها, and it is a blessing of Allah that these people are going to stay there forever. There is no reason to be worried about losing them. And to stay and abide over there, it means every day becomes new for us. Because anything is the same, we get tired. But when Allah wants to give as a blessings, it means every day is fresh for the people. وَذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. And Allah says this is the great achievement. It means whatever you achieve in this world, comparing to resurrection day, is nothing. Anything we get in this world, at the same time that we are happy, we are worried about losing them. At the same time that we have everything, we are worried about sickness, about the problems for our kids, about problems for our parents. This is only the attribute of resurrection day, that whoever enters paradise is going to be happy and enjoy from all dimensions, and one of the most important dimension is to stay and abide there forever. Nobody will come out, will stay there forever. We ask Allah to help us to follow Allah's limits and not to pass His borders. Whoever passes the limits is going to get the opposite. كل شيء جاوز حده انعكس ضده. Whoever and who, if anything will pass the limit, you are going to see the opposite affection for that, an opposite effect. We ask Allah to help us not to pass the limit, Allah's limits. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.